Zeruiah had an affair with somebody while he was in prison. He already know, you dumb.
Hello and welcome to Lawd Lukan. It's time to chuck another corgi on the Barbie as we tuck into some more Love After Lockup, the show where couples like to coordinate. Hence, this week, Ashonta has come coordinated with the curb that True kicked her to. In other news, Amy is investigating Karen's lost underwear.
Something fishy is going on, but I'm gonna find out.
Ashonta is keeping her promise to keep True at arm's length.
It was cool laying in bed with you.
I know it was.
Dodgy Kim is in the kitchen looking for her butt. And not to be outdone by True's omelette, Professor Joey is knocking up a culinary delight.
I'm just gonna cook dinner and boys will be here in a little while, and I mean...
That and much more on today's show. Hello, howdy, and good day mate to you. And a delightfully warm welcome to the channel. Big loves to those who have subscribed, you beautiful people. And a weekend at Musher Cay in Copperfield Bay to the members of the Lukan Manor. First into the pits is Amy and Troy, and when we left them last week, Karen was on the warpath, after pretending that she'd just found out that Amy had an affair while Troy was away. Whoops. And so they have a fight about it. Now, I'm not one to make a big deal out of the small stuff, you know.
Leave me alone, pack your and get out.
In the yellowy orange corner, it's Amy, aka Zeruiah. She's 32 and hails from New York. And she's like, old news don't leave bruises. And her opponent tonight, in the blue corner, it's Karen.
You need
I told you.
The Mayweather from the day centre. She's old enough to know better from Buffalo. And her boobies may be asking her belt for directions, but she's on fire this season and packing enough punch to make your granddaddy purple. Well, actually, I may have oversold this a little bit, you know. Perhaps I should dial it down a bit. It's not so much Guy Ritchie as it is lo-fi beat 'em up. Ah, there we go. Cool, pick a character. Well, you wouldn't want to choose Julien, would you? Although I bet the boobs from the gym can handle herself. Or, what about, Despair? I bet she fights like a trucker. You know, mostly heart disease. Ooh, Amy versus Despair. That'd be a good one. There's no good bloke matchups, though. Julien versus Joey, maybe? Well, Julien would have fallen over the grass on his way in, and no one wants to see this man wearing these. I mean, can you imagine? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't do that to you. Well, there's Arthur and Troy, of course, but Arthur's busy fighting demons, and Troy's mum says he isn't allowed to come out and play at the moment. There is, of course, True, but that'd just be a bit unfair putting him against someone like Julien.
I can hold him with one hand like this.
Anyway, enough for this for now. Let me know who you'd like to see matched up in the comments, and I'll read out the best ones in the next video. Right, so back at Amy's house, where the tears aren't drying on their own.
He already know, you dumb.
Well, she's annoyed because Troy had to talk to his baby mama and took the call outside to avoid animosity and all that pesky conflict. And then he accidentally ended up causing World War III in Amy's head. So she's busy erupting as per the last time she got annoyed with him when she blamed him for everything Karen said. Again? And you see that walk he's doing? If I was him, I'd keep on doing that until he found someone else. I think Troy's a half-decent guy. He's a bit simple and probably does some stupid stuff, but I think he genuinely took an interest in Amy's kid. I do think he's somewhat autistic, and I don't mean that in any kind of nasty, silly way. I just think the son exhibited some signs, and I really wanted to think that he and Troy did actually get round to making that T-Rex skull after all. I imagine to be like that sad scene from Armageddon.
Would you do something for me? Would you just give him this? You don't have to tell him who it's from. Just...
God, Armageddon. That film destroys me every time. Anyway, Amy gives us the background to her cheating.
There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of arguing.
So she decided to do a bit of the old back and forth on some guy she'd met. Oh, bit shinier than usual there. Bit warm in that studio all of a sudden. As I said, this isn't news to Troy. She admitted it. He talked to Karen about it. So where's the news? Well, I'm thinking that this little infidelity font hasn't wafted away yet.
Troy has made it absolutely clear that we have a clean slate. He said it multiple times.
Note, multiple times? Maybe we could suggest too many times? Maybe it's just more of a thing that you want it to be, and that nasty taste is still lingering after all this time. And anyway, she'd much rather blame other people for her problems, which is a bit difficult when it's your fancy the boys have been tickling.
I can hold him with one hand like this.
Now, what does Karen make of it?
game.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell, because once you've bleeped it, there's not much of a sentence left.
This not game.
No idea. Something about suppositories. But Amy clears it up for us.
Either Troy, all of that.
Yeah, so something about sort of Troy, all oh that, apparently. Yeah, good.
You know what the is going on.
I do, sorry, yes, I was just being silly. But the argument erupts into some staunch old lady finger-pointing action.
Stop acting like it's
Cause
new
she
information.
just now told
Stop
me that.
acting like it's new information.
That door didn't stand a chance.
Wait for my door.
Back from his walkabout, Troy bravely enters the house, just in time to get all the heat from all the stuff he didn't say.
Where you been?
Yeah, where have you been? You're supposed to be here being our punch bag. I mean, walking off like that, like you're powerless to stop all these hard-headed women going at it. Who do you think you are, mister?
Stop playing with me. Here, get out my house. Get out my house. Get out.
Yeah, take that for all the stuff someone else said. And all that trying to avoid conflict. You bastard.
My house. Get out my house.
Listen to her shouting, though. That is a full rage going on. Imagine her going off when there aren't cameras around. Amy is clearly unhinged. And whilst I can see her point, she totally loses it as soon as she started throwing rings out of the room, chucking her man out the door, and making this noise. Let's remind ourselves that she's shouting at Troy. Yes, the only thing in prison that's softer than the soap. Does he need the fire and brimstone for you to make your point? And while they take all of their shortcomings out on Mr. Short Penis, bless him though, on top of all his problems, he's got people like me still ripping him for his trouser wowser. We've got a trip to Ashonta and True. And today, we've got an ultrasound appointment. And on the way, True's trying out some ideas.
Let's talk about the names.
Oh gosh.
Well now, what kind of amazing do you think someone like True might come up with? A mix of their names? A shoe, perhaps? Or maybe a little tribute to someone significant? You know, like Albert, Malcolm, or Gary.
True and truth.
No.
Well, you know, I'm not surprised. Of course a practicing narcissist would want to name his kids after himself. Anyway, so they arrive at Belly Image. Oh, look, they do all those 3D pictures of your kid. Disturbing. Why would you put the one that looks like you got a lobster claw on your homepage? They just look like someone sculpted your baby out of baked beans. Great, yeah, $125 for a weird mutant baby. I mean, you're not getting that on a t-shirt, are you? And I'd love to see how accurate it is. They never give you a before and after. Like, hey look, it's turned out that you got something which did actually resemble a child. Nope, you just get some goopy image, and you'd have to end up trying to explain to people which bit of the baby they're supposed to be looking at. A bit like Brody in his little shark picture.
This is nothing. Seaweed, mud, something in the lens.
Lens my ass.
You're damn right it's your ass.
We'll be back to them shortly, but first we're about to take a quick ad break. If you'd like to support this delightful channel, please watch as much of the ads as you can, because it helps me out in a bunch of ways. So kindly stay tuned, and I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back, you beautiful human being.
Julian's still not told his ex-wife that I'm here at the house.
You're just in time for our arrival in Maryland.
You can be dating Mother Teresa and Princess Diana, you know. Wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, if we're talking about Diana, not as in princess, but as in, you know, Ross, then I'd say there may be some similarities after all. Pause your mind for a moment. A quick thought experiment for those who are still paying attention. This is a woman called Dee. She's from a locally known tough family. This is Chuck. He's the second in command of a big bad crime syndicate. Now, Chuck secretly loves a woman called Millie. But Millie looks like the back end of a bus, and that's not good for big bad crime syndicate guy business. Dee would love to marry into a proper crime syndicate, knows about Chuck's love for Millie, but decides to get with him anyway. Over time, Chuck gets more involved with his job, and Dee feels rejected. Chuck ends up adjusting Millie's curtains one disturbing night, and in return, Dee sleeps with a quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys, and has a secret baby with Ed Sheeran that she passes off as Chuck's. Are there any victims in the story? Would you say Dee was right to do what she did in revenge? Now change the characters but keep the story. Dee, of course, is Princess Diana. Chuck is King Charles. Millie is Camilla. Ooh, don't fancy yours much. And the other two? Well, you know, who knows, apparently. Does your opinion change when you know who the people are? Anyway, enough of that. Where were we? Oh yes, Julien is busy not believing a word Christine is saying.
You can be dating Mother Teresa and Princess Diana, you know. Wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think you necessarily need to be Mother Teresa. I think old Mother Hubbard would do, if she didn't constantly gurn and have a colourful past that Julien might refer to as commercial finance acquisition. But of course, that Mother Teresa was a saint. Hang on a second. Mother Teresa, charity person, the cost cutter of Calcutta, and tea towel spokesperson. Made millions of dollars, pounds, pesos for her charity. That was jolly nice of her. And with it, she did, yeah, well, you know, she had some hospitals, didn't she? You know, all those people died due to lack of funding, and everybody who visited them thought they were well below standard, even though people were donating millions of dollars to her. But who am I to doubt her? I mean, she even said herself that she saved 10,000 lives. That's way more than Jesus. The fact that's totally unsubstantiated, I mean, never mind all that. She did great things for the spread of Christianity, and also for the spread of poverty. But, you know, you can make a lot of money out of poverty. All you need to do is hijack a message that's popular, repackage it and sell it to the people, and in exchange for their money, you can give them faith. Faith that something good is coming, and all you need to do is chuck your money at it, all the time making sure that the focus of your charity efforts don't actually benefit in any way, therefore providing you with financial stability. And there you go, Mother Teresa. Sorry, wrong picture. There you go, Mother Teresa. Anyway, we've established that Christine thinks that the only problem with Julien's ex-wife is that she's not keen on her kids hanging around with somebody who robbed 6 banks and looks like she's been hit by a truck that then, you know, just reversed to make sure. And it had a load of crack on it. But then Christine goes into victim mode, as she does when asked not to be so bloody lazy. And of course goes and talks about her kids again.
I have 3 children. My oldest son lives with my mother.
Yeah, we hear all the moaning, but we see the zero efforting. She wants Julien to pay the thousands to some magical unicorn lawyers to fix her problem overnight. And because she thinks she's doing all the emotional heavy lifting, everyone else should just shut up about the abyss of money and expectations that she has. She's moved into someone's family house and is demanding that she be the queen of it immediately. Then what would she do if some judge had some kind of aneurysm and actually did give her custody of the kids? Would she move them into the attic too? Does she think she'd just blend them all together? Is she planning on being like a cuckoo? Cuckoos, of course, move their eggs into other birds' nests and knock out the chicks that were already there.
You're totally ungrateful about the whole thing.
I don't think I'm being ungrateful.
You're complaining about you have access to
I shouldn't be grateful to have access to my own house and my own life.
Cuckooey. Anyway, a quick moan about why the producers needed to remind us about our kids every bloody episode. Yeah, we know. She sucked at parenting, but WeTV still need to fill a bit of airtime. Man, just to fill a bit more airtime, they run that clip about Julien having a secret for 100th time.
There's something I've been keeping from her.
Yeah, rapidly losing interest. Here's my prediction for next week. These two argue about money. She reminds us that she has 3 kids. He reminds us he's got a secret. And we all wonder who the most pointless time filler couple was. Was it these two? Or Shitney and Ming the Merciless? And with that thought, let's go see Creepy King and Professor Joey. And today, Captain Wow is going to get some tyres for his car.
I gotta go put my tires on my car.
I could see a couple of spares from here. Now, Kim might need a new copy of A Dummy's Guide to Obedient Husbands, because she makes rookie mistake number 223, the budget conversation. Now, I imagine a lot of women watching have spotted her fatal error. If you're not sure, firstly, bless you, you got a lot to learn, or a lot to lose, depending on which way you look at it. Secondly, men connect boundaries with reward, but I'll come to that in a second. Let's just recap the bit I'm talking about.
What's my budget? No budget?
Reasonable.
Yeah, 3 husbands and you still do stuff like this. Reasonable means nothing. It's reasonable to expect 400k in a house, for example. Does that mean that as long as you play reasonably, you can get anything that you like? Well, I'm fairly sure that Joey Musk over here must have heard something along those lines. If you said, "Hey babe, I'm off with the girls tonight, might have a few sherbets," and I said, "Cool, try and keep the drinking reasonable. We've got blah blah whatever going on tomorrow." We may have different standards of reasonability. I may think reasonability consists of slight difficulty finding the lock with the door key, and you might be a bit more
You okay down there?
Yeah. Would you trust Joey to drink reasonably if you needed him to? Would you trust Joey with a reasonable budget when he's shopping for high-ticket items? Would you trust Joey to not find his elbow whilst looking for his butt? And just as we're about to sit back and enjoy the dramatic irony, Kim chucks him a specific number.
I'm gonna need you to stay under what? $500. Okay.
And you know what he probably heard? The same thing that most men hear at this point. He's doing the goodbye bit, which generally means that us men are looking for a cheeky bum grab before we go. You know, keys, wallet, phone, kiss the missus, grab their butt. Now you're ready to tackle the thing you're doing. All good things that are done are based on a good foundation of a decent, playful bum grab just before you leave in the morning. Actually, you know what she should have done? As I said earlier, us men connect boundaries and rewards. For example, be a good boy and obey the boundaries and you'll get a treat. So in this case, if she said, be a good boy and don't bankrupt me, and me and my boobs will meet you in the bath later, you know what he would have spent? He would have spent as close to zero as possible. Those kids would have been fed in bed without him moaning about it, and he may have even had a shower. Speaking of which, have you noticed he's had his eyebrows done? I think there's a bit of monobrow action going on here, isn't there? Oh, there we go. Well, True got the hat, so Joey's getting the monobrow. Yay! Animating another small thing frame by frame. Love making it harder for myself. It does take a little while to write and edit these things, you know. Each script is about 3,500 words and about 9 pages long. See, I do actually script this stuff. Here's me typing this bit out as I'm talking. Right then, time now for another ad break. Skip the skip to support the channel, and I look forward to seeing you shortly. Welcome back to the final part of today's video, and our next jolly is to Despair and Arthur. Here's a totally wild and unsubstantiated theory. What if Despair is actually a lesbian and she and her partner would love to have a baby, hence Arthur's involvement? That would explain the sister from another mister that she's already hiding, and the photo he found in her closet. She just gives me the vibes that she may be a bit of a lover of the lavender hallway. So anyway, this next bit is all about Islam.
Allah. So important to me because...
And there's nothing funny about that. But I'm totally not going there.
Inshallah, I want you to feel home.
Home, you say? Oh, damn it. He thought he had to feel hope. Must have been a typo. Back now to the amazing Julien and Christine. And hold on to your pants. Julien is taking his clothes off. Well, I think I'm pregnant. Now I'll give you a minute to cool down as we brace ourselves for the big bad news we've all been waiting for. Let's get some suspenseful music, let's dip the lights, and find out what dark secrets are in store for Christine. Are you ready?
I lost my job.
Is that it? We waited like 7 episodes for that, and if he was responsible for that word branditivity, then he should definitely be fired.
You fired! You fired! You fired! Oh.
So he's been telling Christine that he's been working all day, but actually he's just been hanging out in Starbucks. Meanwhile, Christine is also working. She's got a job at a bar and has plans for a career outside of the service industry.
He's been really supportive of like my comedy. Like I'm starting like this stand-up comedy career. Like
Stand-up career. Oh, I can't say I saw that coming. Again though, we do have to ask, does she mean career as a noun, as in an occupation? Or career as a verb, as in to career off the road into a ditch? My judgment says the latter, but shush me, maybe she's good at it. Well, brace your pants for the second time this segment, my beautiful viewer, because Christine's about to tell a joke.
when I was in prison, I had a captive audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, ditch. But then, shock horror, Julien accidentally drops himself in it.
To prepare for my interview, I gotta go cook my dinner.
Oh no! Now she's all suspicious about why he has an interview. Will she find out? Stay tuned for the enthralling conclusion. And while we wait for that, we take a quick stop at Despair and Arthur. And I only included this bit because this happens.
Are you gonna get on one knee and propose? Because, like, that's not happened.
No.
Ah, you, Despair. Back to Julien and Christine. See, you didn't have to wait very long, did you? And Julien has no choice but to tell Christine that he was fired a week ago, and he's been deceptive about it. Will she erupt? Will she understand?
Babe.
Yeah, okay then. She seems totally fine about it. And that's the kind of
Babe.
you get when you've got coffee in the sugar again. Or, you didn't shut the fridge door properly. Or when she's trying to sleep, then you roll her and give her one of those special mummy and daddy hugs.
Babe.
So, Julien says he's sorry.
I'm sorry.
And to put the ante into Christine's climax, they go home to hide in the attic.
Can we go home?
Okay.
One more time to dodgy Kim and Joey. And Joey has returned for the Will shop thing, where they buy that sort of stuff from. And he's got a wee bit over budget.
$2,200. The tires were going to cost $500. So I spent an extra $1,700.
And that sort of somehow makes sense, does it? In what dimension? Now that was some mathematics going on. But if dodgy Kim would have taken my advice in the beginning, she'd be $1,700 better off, and he'd be hoping for more chances to obey some more boundaries. You could really sort Kim out, couldn't you, by just giving her a new wardrobe and a few man strategies?
And you think I should just be okay with that?
I mean, you can be, or you can bitch about it. Whichever one you want to do.
Yes, well, I suppose I'll just go ahead and fuck myself then, shall I? Nice. But, you can't argue with that logic. You could either A, like it, or B, moan about it. But whatever you do, it's all done, and I don't care. Absolutely no flippity-doo-dahs given. And while he's busy not giving our flying fig roll, he's also doing some dinner. Now, True gave us the steak omelette. In the past, OG Cam gave us gold leaf steak. Kind of. So what wonders might we receive from Joey Stewart?
I'm just going to cook dinner, and boys will be here in a little while, and I mean...
boiled potatoes in starchy finger water. Delicious. Back over to Ashonta and True, and True's popped out to see a friend.
I'll do this.
I wonder if that's this friend. She's certainly more his type.
Anything can happen, man.
Okay, so we're on the home straight now, as we head into the final segment for today. And it's Amy and Troy's turn, and everything's going just fine.
No, we already talked about this. Why the would you put the
That is one hellish scream, and even the producer tries to settle her down.
Zeruiah, she was baking this.
Take my clothes off.
Zeruiah?
I've heard the crew are like that. They'll follow you up into the bedroom when you're trying to get changed, and I have it on fairly good authority that Mr. Mills got rather annoyed at the crew when they followed a very pregnant and very exhausted Juju into her bedroom where she was trying to get changed. Yeah, well, it wasn't doing any favours anyway. So that's all of the lockup for today. Don't miss next week when Chris 50 gets to tread the boards.
Welcome for Chris 50.
And Joey's in trouble again. So make sure you've got your notifications on for that. One last piece of business before we leave, and it's the matter of the wholesome element. Today it's a short one. It's the evidence that not all news has to be bad news these days.
I want you to read it.
I'm going to be adopted?
We love you, sweetheart. We'll always be your parents.
I love you so much. I love you.
And that's it from me today. I hope the clip didn't make you too happy sad, but just in case, here's a happy fish to make you feel better. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for your comments and your likes. You make it all really worthwhile. So until I see you again, stay beautiful, love to my three, and you take care of yourself.
Please subscribe now for our play.